Alex, Max, and Charles, back to back.
Yeah.
They're all going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Every single one of those fighters.
Loves. I have so much respect for them. So much.
But you stopped them all with a knockout.
Yeah.
Does that not feel
crazy, right? It is, to be honest. Why I would lie you? Like, I don't want to lie you. It is. And now Justin Gaethje. To be able to knock out Walt, Max Holloway, Charles, and Justin, it's just crazy. Like, I respect them like so much. Great athletes. They have done so many great things.
Well, look at what Volk's done after you.
Bro.
Sensational fighter.
Everything I can say about them is like respect.
Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. How do you think the fight's gonna go?
To be honest, I don't know how Justin Gaethje should fight Ilia Topuria. I will say that just wrestling against Ilia, but Justin Gaethje, he's not wrestling. He's gonna tuck his hand and try to punch like how he does, but that's what Ilia will study him. He will study him and then he will exactly punch right there, you know? I think this fight is perfect for Ilia. Like, just Ilia knocks people out. Like, if he touches you and he knocks you out.
Ilia Topuria fighting for the lightweight title against the interim title champion Justin Gaethje. Mighty Mouse, what do you think?
I like that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think after spending a little bit of time with Justin Gaethje at the Celebrity Football, the way he was fighting Patty Pillman, I was kind of confused. Like, you kept circling this power. Then when you talked to him, he was like, he didn't hit hard. Patty doesn't hit hard. He can't kick. His footwork sucks ass. So
yeah, that's why I just kind of went,
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. And then, you know, him fighting Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is probably one of the most technical, sound athletes that I've seen in mixed martial arts, meaning that like his cadence of a rhythm when he boxes, when he hits pads, everything he does is strategic, right? And so
it's also surgical.
The
precision is perfect. There's no telegraph. There's no opening.
Yeah.
He sets things up.
Yeah.
The timing is ridiculous.
Yep.
You know, and then of course combine that with the power that he has. One shot is truly all it takes.
I mean, it's the celebration of the 250th birthday of the greatest country on God's green earth, you know,
yes, it is.
America. And, you know, you'd think that there'd be more American fighters on it from top to bottom. You'd think that there'd maybe be some favorable matchups for the American, but to send Gaethje out there to get slaughtered, I mean, Topuria is the best fighter on the planet right now. No one can, I think, dispute that. I mean, he's
good. He's very
the way
good.
He's just finishing these guys, Holloway, Volkanovski, and Oliveira. He's just on another level right now. He's in his prime, and you know, Gaethje's on his way down, and there's no, you know, beating Father Time. So, you know, I just feel like they could have put more Americans in bigger fights, and they didn't put the best American fighters on the card. You know, they put Gaethje. He's a good American fighter for sure, but you know, there's other great American fighters. I'm happy Sean O'Malley's on there. You know, he's going to put on a good show for sure, but. You know, Michael Chandler, 41, 42-year-old Michael Chandler, you know, he's a punching bag
And
now.
that kid's good, too. Roofy's good.
Yeah, so another guy, he's getting sent to slaughter on our birthday for America.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
there's no
anything, but
prelims,
I've
right?
heard some of the stuff they're gonna do to start the event. It's insane. It is mind-blowing.
Will this be the biggest spectacle in the history of MMA?
I don't see how you can outdo this.
Like, it's going to outshine Noche.
As I say,
outshine 300.
Obviously, I've heard a couple of things, right? From good sources, very, very good sources of things that are going to happen. And it's just going to be mind-blowing. I'm in no position to be releasing that stuff and spoiling it. That's all to be surprises and stuff. But the production levels of what they're doing and the extra touches of what they're doing. I mean, Dana's already spoke about, you know, there's going to be 85,000 people across the street at the Ellipse. There's going to be all kinds of functions going on there and a lot of fun and fan interaction and engagements. And like, it's just going to be a huge
I heard Trump say that people are going to walk into the Oval Office.
As the tape goes on and fighters prepare in the old office with seconds ticking away, anticipation for the Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje showdown at UFC reaches fever pitch levels that keep climbing higher. Everyone from analysts to active fighters weighs in with completely different perspectives, creating a divide where no consensus emerges. The central question remains whether Topuria will showcase his divisional supremacy or if Gaethje will dismantle him and display what authentic combat mastery truly represents.
Yeah. What are your early thoughts on Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria?
Ooh, tough fight. Yeah, I think, you know, Topuria is a data collector. He's going to see holes in the defense. I think some of those things that you and I talked about that maybe Justin was kind of overexposing, I think Topuria is going to look at those things and try to exploit those. If you're going to reverse engineer your game plan.
When active fighters start providing their own analysis, the narrative becomes even more intense and polarizing. Merab Dvalishvili acknowledges specific elements that complicate predicting any clear path to victory for Gaethje. Gaethje naturally gravitates toward explosive exchanges where he commits fully to trading power shots with maximum intensity.
Who do you have for that fight? Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. I know you're going to pick Ilia. How do you think the fight's going to go? Like, what do you think Justin Gaethje could do to dethrone Ilia Topuria?
So, to be honest, I don't know how Justin Gaethje should fight Ilia Topuria. I will say that just wrestling against Ilia, but Justin Gaethje he's not wrestling. But as I think the Justin, he's gonna duck his hand and try to punch like how he does, but that's what Ilia will study him. He will study him and then he will exactly punch right there, you know. And I think this fight is perfect for Ilia, like, because Justin Gaethje he just box and then throws cupcakes, which is Ilia does same thing, and then in exchange, just Ilia knocks people out. Like, if you exchange it, if he touches you, like.
However, this aggressive approach might be exactly what Ilia anticipates and plans to exploit. Topuria's self-assurance continues rising, especially regarding his evolution as a complete fighter with each successive bout. According to Merab, success isn't measured solely by wins, but by the dominant fashion in which he achieves them, dismantling elite competition like Alexander Volkanovski, accomplishing what no one managed against Max Holloway, and earning recognition for his striking power from Charles Oliveira himself. Viewed through this lens, the skill gap could be more significant than most observers recognize, because when a wrestler like Arman Tsarukyan must abandon his grappling game, serious problems emerge.
And he knocks you out. So, and then the thing is, Ilia, like, is getting better and better and better and better. You know, he, like, even last 3 fights results, like, he knocked out Volkanovski, Max Holloway, nobody did that, and Charles Oliveira, he said himself, nobody hit him like this.
Wow. No, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Okay, well, now that we've covered everything.
And then also, I can tell you, you know, I respect Arman Tsarukyan too, and he's a great athlete, great fighter. But I think since Ilia is championing this weight class, even if Arman fights Ilia stylistically, he beats Arman.
Ooh.
Because yeah, you can't take Ilia down. It doesn't even make sense to wrestling with him, and then Arman has to box with Ilia too, and Ilia will knock out Arman Tsarukyan.
Beyond the immediate matchup, discussions already shift toward future possibilities as voices suggest Ilia won't simply stop after defeating Gaethje, but will pursue even greater challenges, with Chael Sonnen among those believers. Sonnen specifically mentioned Ilia potentially defeating Islam Makhachev in a catchweight bout at 170 pounds, requiring both fighters to compete outside their natural divisions. This concept generates intrigue and fascination as fans wonder whether Ilia possesses the tools to compete with and overcome Makhachev's dominance.
If Ilia was to fight Islam, I would like that to be at 170 because I would like the opportunity for champ to be there. My understanding, when Ilia dropped the 45-pound belt, which, by the way, is like a sin at the UFC. You do not walk away from a belt. Even though 3 guys have done it in the last 12 months, it's still something that they don't love to happen. Allegedly, the way that conversation went, that UFC was also armed with the fact that Islam wanted to do the same thing. And allegedly, in a story that I believe to be true, is that a deal was reached with both of them. You can leave, but then you can't do this again. You're going to stay at 170, you're going to stay at 55. Now, for a really big fight, I get where some things could change, but I love the idea. I love the idea of Ilia going all the way up to 170. I don't know.
Regarding legacy building, Neil Magny views this more as a strategic career path where focus centers on timing and significance rather than pure difficulty. In his perspective, Ilia's greater appeal lies not necessarily in facing Arman, but in continuing to accumulate victories over established names who carry proven championship-level credentials. This approach emphasizes building an undeniable resume that naturally progresses toward the ultimate challenge at the division's peak, making each fight less about demonstrating skill and more about cementing legacy during pivotal moments.
But why is that when you say that you think, in your perspective, that you don't think Ilia wants to fight Arman?
Just, I don't think I think he's looking for legacy fights. Like, he fought, you know, he fought Volkanovski, he fought Max, he fought Charles Oliveira. These are all, you know, big legacy fights. And I think Arman is too, because Arman has a big future, you know? But I think he's looking for those fights. I think Justin Gaethje, like, you know, and then eventually from Justin Gaethje to Islam Makhachev. So I think he's looking for more legacy fights, and I don't think he sees Arman like that. And I think Arman is a tougher test too, you know? So it's like, take a fight that might be easier and better for your legacy, and then finally go up to the main boss, which is Islam Makhachev.
Magny further analyzes this as a collision between completely different victory conditions and fighting philosophies. For Gaethje, success requires creating chaos and transforming contests into car crash scenarios where everything becomes messy, structure disappears, and battles devolve into pure dogfights where instincts outweigh technical planning. Conversely, Ilia thrives on control, layered approaches, and calculated pressure, incorporating grappling, kicks, and precise entries to prevent fights from settling into Justin's preferred rhythm. When contests remain technical and measured, Ilia transforms into his most lethal version, which explains why cleaner, more structured fights tend to favor his skill set.
Because now it will be Ilia versus Justin Gaethje. What do you think the keys to victory are for each fighter, and who do you favor for that?
For Justin, you know how he always talks about car crashes? He needs to do that. He needs to, because if you watch him fight, you're like, man, this guy is not technical. How's he doing so good? But I think he's actually very technical. He just has a way of drawing you into his style. And that's what Justin needs to do. Turn the fight into a car crash. Don't let it be a clean boxing match. Because when you have a clean fight, Ilia is as good as they get. Like, he might be the best. That being said, I think for Ilia it's essentially, I would recommend him to grapple, just like he did with Max Holloway. He did a little bit of grappling, a little bit of takedowns, a little bit of leg kicks, and then eventually he'll find.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, Dricus du Plessis embraces and celebrates Gaethje's chaotic fighting style completely. He appreciates the mentality of marching forward, absorbing damage, and refusing to show weakness or retreat first. This represents authentic fighting in his mind, featuring high pace, elevated risk, and zero backward movement. Such an approach either completely breaks opponents or gets shattered by those patiently waiting for perfect counterattack opportunities.
When it comes to fighting styles, a guy like Gaethje, I love his fighting style. Just the way he goes out there, caution to the wind, and you know, I feel like I try to do that as well, because that's what we're in there for, is to go and fight.
Eric Nixick perceives this matchup as less about raw power and more about superior fight reading and adaptation abilities. He views Ilia as constantly gathering intelligence during exchanges, identifying subtle defensive patterns, and methodically constructing a blueprint for systematic breakdown. The concern regarding Justin stems from his aggressive style, occasionally creating precise openings, and against a fighter who analyzes patterns mid-fight, those moments never get overlooked but instead receive severe punishment. At elite levels, single mistakes aren't mere slips but potential fight-ending sequences.
Yeah. What are your early thoughts on Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria?
Ooh, tough fight. Yeah, I think you know, Topuria is a data collector. He's going to see holes in the defense. I think some of those things that you and I talked about that maybe Justin was kind of overexposing, I think Topuria is going to look at those things and try to exploit those.
Alan Juban characterizes this as transcending typical high-level matchups, representing one of those rare contests that feels monumentally significant from the announcement moment. He considers Ilia currently operating at the sport's absolute pinnacle, possibly the most well-rounded fighter in terms of complete skill sets, while Justin embodies pure chaos and entertainment combined into one explosive package. What elevates this pairing beyond normal significance isn't merely the displayed talent, but the genuine feeling that anything could occur once the cage door closes. Every exchange carries tension capable of completely reversing fight momentum instantly, explaining why this generates discussion far beyond normal contest expectations and feels like a defining moment for an entire era.
You look at Ilia Topuria, though, in my mind, you know, he's number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Maybe he's number 1 when it comes to overall skill set. Justin Gaethje, one of the more exciting fighters we've ever seen inside the octagon. Final opportunity. And I'm going to just jump number 2 because I'm giving away number 1 if I go to number 2. My number 1 fight out of everything that we're waiting to see, especially on the White House card, is Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. I think it's just, you look at, I'm trying to think, when I think about Alex Pereira and Ciryl, it's more, I can't wait to see Alex Pereira go into the octagon, do his walk. I can't wait to see him making that cold stare and the production team zooms in on his eyes when they're standing in the center and Bruce Buffer's announcing their names. And I can't wait to see him go in there and maybe get a knockout or maybe get caught by the bigger, stronger, faster man in Ciryl. But I don't have the same excitement as I do universally, the surrounding the entire fight in both fighters, as I do with
Zhuban frames this as a genuine crossroads moment for Justin, potentially representing one final legitimate championship push, while most surrounding voices already lean toward the next generation of contenders. Even former opponents question whether he can continue holding off younger, fresher threats at the division summit, despite repeatedly proving doubters wrong by shutting down rising challengers with the same knockout power that built his entire career. Nevertheless, despite his history and inherent danger, the matchup with Ilia stands out above everything else currently scheduled.
Counting him out, even people that know these fighters very well, guys like, you know, Dustin Poirier and other fighters that have fought some of these men, they're like, I just think it's too much for Justin Gaethje to handle. But a guy like Justin Gaethje, who's been turning back all these young guns repeatedly, one after another, it shows that he's still got that ability in him, and he's still got that knockout power in him. But Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje, it's the fight that I'm most looking forward to on the books. Alex Pereira, Ciryl.
Chris Weidman breaks this down as a classic power versus precision matchup, where Gaethje always possesses fight-altering knockout ability, capable of changing everything in single exchanges, regardless of round scoring, while recognizing Ilia operates on superior technical levels with exceptional boxing balance, strong takedown defense, and solid grappling skills to complement his striking. The challenge for Justin lies in his limited offensive wrestling, likely forcing him into pure striking battles, but not the controlled tactical approach he displayed against Tony Ferguson, instead requiring high-risk firefight exchanges.
That's going to be a tough fight, but Gaethje does have the power that could change a fight at any time, and technicality really could go out the window. Because there's no question that Ilia is just on a whole different level when it comes to just as far as being a technical fighter, having balance on his feet as a boxer. He's got great takedown defense, very good jiu-jitsu. Gaethje doesn't use offensive wrestling, so you would think he'd be on his feet with him, and Gaethje's not going to be able to like pick him apart like he did against Tony Ferguson, where we probably seen the most like strategic version and best version technical of Gaethje. So it would be a really tough fight for him.
When these two finally collide, will Justin's chaos and power solve the puzzle, or will Ilia's timing and precision shut down all aggressive advances? The anticipation continues building as fight fans eagerly await this championship clash that promises to deliver fireworks and potentially crown the division's next dominant champion.